Since the current Torah portion is named after Korach in Numbers 16, I thought I would take a few minutes to show you how this man in this portion is also connected to Cain and the Cainites. And famously, Korach was swallowed up by the ground. If you look at the Gate of Reincarnations, the famous Kabbalistic text, you'll see that Korach is among those who is from this soul root of Cain. So he is a reincarnation of Cain. And there you see Korach's name. This is well known. Here's a source of connecting Cain and Korach through this reincarnation. And I'll read a bit of this. It is well known that the Kabbalists have said that Korach was a reincarnation of Cain, and that Cain had to go a number of reincarnations. And they even bring up our old friend, Jethro, who we know is a reincarnation of Cain. And they bring up Yael, who's been covered on this channel many times, and her husband, Heber HaKaini, the Cainite. So Moses, as we know, is a reincarnation of Abel, and Jethro, a reincarnation of Cain. And we see here that Jethro deferred to Moses by giving him his daughter Ziphrah as a wife, and that she was a reincarnation of the extra twin that had been born with Abel, on whose account Cain had slain Abel out of jealousy. When Korach now started a quarrel, he simply reverted to the pattern in which his original ancestor Cain had acted. Moses then killed him, or caused his death, fulfilling the Torah's commandment that if someone has shed innocent blood, his own blood will be spilled by human hands. This is Genesis 9:6. We must understand that the verse is telling us that the very person who had been slain will in due course slay his murderer. This is why we find Moses, who is in reality the reincarnation of Abel, slaying Korach, who was the reincarnation of Cain. The fact that Korach's death was due to the earth swallowing him was also an example of the punishment fitting the crime, since the same earth had been remiss when it opened to hide the evil deed that Cain had committed and covered his blood. And what they're referring to here is Genesis 4, when Hashem says, "What have you done? Hark, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." And then this verse, "Therefore you shall be more cursed than the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand." So there you can see the ground opening up for Korach, and then as Hashem is speaking to Cain, he mentions it about Abel. But then there's another connection that no one ever brings up, and it's like frustrating almost. But we see here that there's another Korach, and he is mentioned in Genesis 36. Those of you who've been around for a while know that Genesis 36 is a Cainite, Kenizzite genealogy. It's Edom. And if you don't believe me about this, and here you have Korach, one verse up, you see Bashemet bore Ruel. And who is Ruel? Jethro, the Cainite.